And welcome back to another episode of Tai Chi For You. Glad to be back. Like I said, I had a little vacation and we're back in the studio. One thing I forgot to do last week was to sort of do a little housekeeping where we mentioned at the beginning of the month everyone that has a birthday, has an anniversary, has something they celebrate. So we kind of missed January and February. So and we might as well throw March in there too. So, shout out to anybody that has a birthday, anniversary, anything like that that you want to celebrate. That's awesome. You guys, just being part of the audience, that's a celebration right there on my behalf. But I'd also like to just say hi to everybody, new people. There's a lot of new people I met in Florida that are now watching, and some of them are brand new to Tai Chi. Some people have some different backgrounds. They have with yoga, with other martial arts, things like that. And a very special shout out to Georgia. Okay, that took care of that. So, this week's show, and we always talk about the basics and we go over the basics and we talk about how the masters like to master the basics. And one of the first things that you do, and I've seen this in other studios where they bow before they enter the room where the practice is going to happen. And from my understanding, is the bowing is not so much to bow for the sake of the teacher being um, above everybody else. The bowing is for you. You're bowing or letting go, leaving all the day's worries, everything that's bugging you behind you as you enter in so you can absorb new knowledge for yourself. So it really has nothing to do with uh, bowing to a higher person. You're bowing with the idea of, yes, I'm here, I'm letting things go, and I'm entering to better myself. So I just thought I'd clear that up. Some people asked me about that. Also, just today, I met someone and we started talking. They were from Northbridge. And I said, "Have you ever been to the senior center?" And his wife just started laughing. She's like, "We were just talking about that." And I said, "Well, you ought to come down and do Tai Chi." He goes, "I saw that there, but something came up. He couldn't make it to the Monday class." So hopefully we see everybody, some new people on Monday. And it's a great opportunity just to, again, new people are fine. You're more than welcome. This really the class is for you. Every class is a little different. We we go over things, we review it because myself included, I need to hear things 50 times. Sometimes you got to hit me over the head before I get it, but that's the idea of this class where we teach the basics. We are learning the Yang style 24 form. And again, I say that is the most popular one. I don't want to say it's the easiest to learn. It's simple when the basics, when we explain it, when we break things down, just like with any example of a recipe or learning another sport, things like that. When you break it down, you you get the 50,000 foot view of what Tai Chi is and the basics to it. And then we talk about how each move we go deeper with the meaning of it. So Tai Chi is an internal martial art, and by that I mean you want to have awareness of internally what's going on. And I say that with the idea of the physical, the what's going on with muscles, tendons, the weight shift, what's happening with that, um, with the body physically, and then energetically, internally. There's all the um, again, traditional Chinese medicine. They talk about the chakras, the meridians, the power centers, and we go over that. And I don't really spend too much time going deep with it. It depends on the class and the amount of students, and if the students have heard it 49 times before from me, but maybe they need that one more time to hear it to get it. Just like I talk about that aha moment when you're practicing a move and you're always having trouble with either that move or the move coming up before it. And then one day it just clicks, and that's that aha moment. So, and I've seen this happen with a dozen students where they stick with it, they're consistent, and it happens. And they get a smile, I get a smile out of it. So it's really great. It's rewarding. So we got the housekeeping out of the way. Talked about um, in April, which is right around the corner. I'll have more information on it. But for everybody in Rhode Island, and actually anybody that wants to drive down to Rhode Island with me, or make a day out of it and come down, I'll be having a Tai Chi workshop there, and I'll fill you in on the details next week. So I think that's about it. Monday's class is the Northbridge Senior Center. Everyone is welcome. You don't have to be a senior. You don't have to be from Northbridge. It's 11 o'clock, 11 to 12. Come on down and join us. You'll have lots of fun. So when we start off with Tai Chi, before we start off, we do our basic warm-up. And I'm just showing it, I don't want to say quickly, but just the short version of it. We actually do a nice breathing exercise and get that body moving, the blood flowing, and we call it the head to toe. So we just gently circle the head, and we incorporate the breathing. The breath is a long, slow, deep breath, and we don't overdo it when we're moving around. We just want to start to loosen things up. You can do different versions of this. One woman, her doctor didn't want her to do this. So I said, well, ask him if you could just do a look up, look down, or look left, center, right, center. So we can adapt. If you have any issues with something like that, speak to me later, or, if it might benefit the class, mention it that, you can't move a certain way. And maybe the person next to you is a little shy and they have the same issue with their neck or shoulder or back. So it's just a gentle warm up with the head, and then the shoulders are the next one. We drop down, and it's light circles, nothing that no pain, no gain is not part of Tai Chi. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of things you have to keep in mind, but when the it all just it doesn't overwhelm you. Just learning all the techniques, after a while it becomes that second nature. So the shoulders are the next thing to warm up. Then we do a little bit on the hips. We want to get those moving. There's a lot of people are stiff with this one. And it can be as little as just a light movement. Don't worry if it doesn't look perfect or look like the person standing next to you. You don't have to overdo it. Again, it's you listening to your body. That nice circle in both directions. With the knees, I like bringing the legs in a little bit closer, and the weight is a little bit forward on that pad, the front part of the foot, and we just lightly circle. And if you can't even reach down to your knees, that's fine. Just make that attempt to start to move. If you're worried about balance, stand next to a table or a chair or the wall, whatever's comfortable. You want to be comfortable so you can really start to explore and maybe go a little bit deeper with the movement and have it just flow in both directions, just like that. And then we go down into the ankle, and there's um, different exercises for the ankle, but the basic one is just that circular motion. Anything exercise you do that's circular is very beneficial, just like that. And again, we're incorporating the breathing, that nice deep breath in, breath out. And we do both feet again. If you're in a chair, if you're temporarily in a chair or permanently is your situation, whatever it is, these can be done sitting down. I've even had people that are in wheelchairs, they get those hips going when they're in a wheelchair. So it's all, again, attitude. You want to think positive about things and just enjoy everything. Have that smile. I mentioned it at one time last year coming into the studio. Saw somebody jogging on the road, had the most miserable look on their face. It's like, if you're not enjoying it, why are you doing it? So anyway, that smile is really the key to a lot of things. When you meet somebody or exercising, enjoy what you're doing. So we had that head to toe warm up. A lot of the moves, when I talk about the basics, the first basic is the being aware of where the weight is on which leg. And one of the terms is a heavy foot, light foot. And as we shift the weight, we use what's called that 60-40. So 60% heavy foot to the light foot. So eventually, certain moves have it where you have to be 100% in order for this leg to have options of that. We call it a half step in, that step up and out, stepping back. And notice this leg hasn't moved. This is the grounded leg or a kick. And then the weight shifts and the moves get repeated on the other side with the half step in, the step out, the step back, or we do what's called just a low kick, just like that. The next thing after that, shifting the weight, we come up and we start to turn the body. And that word flow comes in all the time. We're flowing. So it's things are happening at the same time, that shifting the weight, turning the body, shifting, turning, just like that, along with the breathing, along with keeping the posture. So remember I said you start throwing more things out there and they just all come together naturally in that flow, that move, just like that. Now with the hands or the arms, the principle, or the majority of the time, is if one hand's up, one hand is down. Or it might be one hand is out, and as it comes in, the other hand goes out. So there's that constant flow, how they come in and out. But let's talk about the up and down. So we visualize the idea of holding a ball. And when this top hand is coming down, notice how the bottom hand is coming up. And the timing, I guess. I'm trying to think of other ways to explain it. And then there's that twist. People seem to like the idea of the sort of like a puppeteer guy is up above you and he's twisting and turning and dropping strings and pulling strings up. So if you want to use that as a visual guide to remember, but I like the other one is let the palms touch and meet. And we say heart center, about heart level, and they don't stop. They're constantly moving. And then here's my 60-40. By that I mean I'm not reaching up too high or locking the elbow and going straight out. It's about a 60-40, and that's your max where you want to be. Then that's where that twist happens, and then it just repeats itself and comes up and twists. And you want to have it, just picture how smooth the hands of a clock or your wristwatch. You start to notice the twist at almost that maximum 60-40. And as soon as you hit that point, then that fall and rise happens again. So just incorporate the breath with the move. Just like that. And this move right here, the feet are at that 50-50. There's no shifting the weight on this one. There is in another move, but just as the warm-up move for this one is just that shifting. It's not part of it. The hands are the only ones that are doing it. And after you do a few of them, you start to feel internally what's happening, physically internally and energetically internally. And we talk about the energy ball that we make. So why don't we go over that real quick? We're not really going to get into too much of breaking each move down. If you want to watch past episodes, go on the station's website and click the show's name, Tai Chi For You, and you can see all the shows, all 100 and whatever we did, 23 of them or something. And I'd say maybe about 10 shows ago, we broke down like 5 shows with each show having 3 or 4 moves that I really talked about a lot and explained them and went over and over. So you saw it 3 or 4 times and explained maybe a little differently with the idea of the principle behind it. So the energy ball, and this is a fun one, just look at the energy in the mountains. So that's the chi, or the energy that we're trying to tap into, that higher source, however you want to think about the energy of the earth or the energy of the heavens. You want to take, and there's different ways of making this energy ball, but the one we like is the 2 fingers with the palm. And what we're doing is we're circling the hand with large circles with the intention of sort of winding it up and getting that energy focused right into the center of that palm. And then once we're there, we reverse, and then we start to draw it out. And then we want to place the hands so they're facing, palms are facing each other, not touching, just facing. And just hold it for a second. You don't want to rush through things. You want to start to feel. See if you can feel that that idea, if you ever played with magnets, that sort of pulse. Or try that, go up and down just a little bit. And you might start to pick up that energy that's there. Now you want to sort of play with it and just pull it out, pull it apart. Don't want to go too far, depending on your ability. If you can stretch it more and still feel that connection, and then now you pack it in like you're packing a snowball. All right, so work that feel that if you can. I told you I did this for almost a year in different settings, and I just didn't get it. And then I had the aha moment where, yep, there is something there. So this is the energy ball we create. And we want to use this energy. We want to set our intention. So we have the intention of a healing for somebody, however you want to send it. You don't have to have the person in front of you. Just the intention of what you want to do with that energy and send it out. And then return back to, this is called mountain pose, just like that. I use the analogy, or I say, it doesn't hurt. I'm not hurting myself. I'm not hurting anybody by doing that. Sort of like you can have a prayer group, or, someone just like now with the texting, oh, thoughts and prayers. Okay, there might be something that's going through and getting to that person, or that person just, they feel that you spent that time to send a thought, send a prayer, things like that. So as far as I could tell, it's all good. It's not hurting anybody. It could be a big placebo effect, but you get science involved, and placebo is effective 40 to 60% of the time when they give them the sugar pill and they tell them this is going to help you with that cough or the allergies or whatever, and the people have a positive reaction. So hopefully, if you're doing this with us and we have a lot of fun, and if it is someone has a request that we send it as a group, the energy to someone that needs it for an illness or whatever that's they're going through, hey, I figure it doesn't hurt. Maybe it helps. So that's kind of my stance. I'm not. It's not a religion. People, think of Tai Chi. It's really what you want it to be. It's an exercise. It's a meditation. It's all those things. So that's why it's so beneficial. It does have. I brought the books last week. The Harvard Medical School, all these other colleges and universities that do studies where they have controlled studies where it does help with bone density. It does help with arthritis. It does help, again, with the breathing. So all the benefits of Tai Chi, you can learn and practice and do it yourself. So why don't we get in? We'll do a few of the moves. We'll have time to do a few of the moves just so you get an idea of these brand new people, okay? So that first move, I have the mountains in the back. It's called mountain pose. And it's a little bit different than sort of our, up to army attention pose. We're standing straight. We're elongating the spine. We're tucking the chin in a little bit. We're slightly bending the knees. The arms are out to the side. The elbows are back just a little bit. Not too much, just like that. Nice breath in, breath out. Then we talked about the one leg being grounded. We're going to ground that right leg so the left leg does a step out. And then you adjust we go into that 50-50 posture. And this is called horse stance. So those are the first two moves in the Yang Style 24 that we are learning. The next move is that opening move. And there is the arms, both arms coming up at the same time. And here's that idea of that circling, or it's more of an oval. And we're not locking out. It's that 60-40 principle. So it's coming up, not too high. I'm almost at that top point, and I start to bring it in. I'm almost at that in point where it's not a stretch. I'm just coming in that 60-40, and there's that going down. And again, I'm not locking the elbows out. There's that nice drop. So it's up, in, and down. And after you do this a few times, you start to feel what's happening. You feel sort of that blood tingling or the chi, starting to feel maybe the wrists loosening up, the elbows, shoulders are starting to loosen up a little bit. And internally, you're starting to move energy just like that. Now it gets a little more, not complicated, but complex, where we are shifting that weight back onto 60% heavy. There's that turning the body. Here's that hold the ball we did. And the light foot has the option. It's going to do a half step in. The light foot still has a bunch of options. It's going to step up and out to the side. Now the weight shift is going to happen. I'm going to put it on that front foot. As I turn the body, this top hand's coming down and that bottom hand is coming up. And this is what we practice in class, because you're not going to get it the first time. It's just, maybe there's somebody out there that did. Actually, if you're open-minded, it does come a lot easier. I always try to analyze everything too much. So I really picked things apart until I started using that word flow and just having that idea happening so everything's flowing. And it's not really a stop and start form. Some forms could be where they stop and they start and they release. But all these moves are done with that idea of the flowing and that shifting the weight, the hand down, hand up, that heavy foot, light foot. And then it just goes right into the next move. This one is called brush, knee, and push. If you can see why. Brush, knee, and push. Just like that. Good. All right. So that was sort of, I guess I covered everything I wanted to tonight, where I showed you a few things. We talked a little bit about what to expect if you're a brand new student. And the classes, they vary each week. Don't think that if you didn't make it one week, we're not going to go over that move that we practice. We go over the moves because it's a 24 form, 24 steps, 24 moves that we put together to form a complete, total mind, body, spirit connection workout. So until next time, if I see you in class, that's great. If not, we'll see you next time here on Tai Chi For You.